Testing. Welcome, 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 welcome.
Brother man, nice to see you, bro.
On Facebook Live, welcome, welcome, welcome to A Course in Miracles. In this latest iteration of myself, I call myself Earl Purdy. Yeah, this is the way I chose to do it this time. And let me tell you, that's a weird guy. He'll just have fun for no reason at all. Everybody knows you got to have a reason to be happy. Or we wouldn't be searching so hard for the things that never do.
That's right. Yeah.
We're geniuses. We're trying our best to know exactly what love looks like by dealing with every fear that we thought we ever could make or ever had. We're trying to go beyond our anger by being willing to look at it every day, even in traffic, so that we can start to be each other's saviors from the fear. We're fear saviors. And so we're going to be on page 520 in the Course in Miracles, page 520. I will make myself be happy if I don't like how this sounds.
Was that some subliminal messaging there?
Chapter 25, the justice of God. The justice of God is the name of it. Yes. Well, that's not like justice of God because when you say that together, it's jog.
Best exercise.
Justice of God. Jog. It's time for us to jog. We are joggers. Truth joggers. Those of you online, you're truth joggers too. And I feel your presence even if your physical body isn't here. I look forward to the time my physical body won't seem to keep us from joining. Sometimes the best way you can make sure you never join with somebody is to join your physical bodies with them. How many of y'all experts are at joining your physical body with people who are wrong for you? Anybody ever had that happen? I mean, you just whooped that illusion on them, and it didn't get you nothing you wanted. Sometimes that's the way it worked out. Because I had unrealistic expectations of my body. I had unrealistic expectations of my body. Have you ever had unrealistic expectations of your body?
Yeah. I know women do it mine.
Everybody knows, Patrick. There are no secrets in the real world. That's the price. See, I'm telling you, that's how you know it's real. It's not hidden.
Oh, he didn't hide.
Yeah, if you gotta hide it, it ain't real. But don't feel guilty about all the stuff you hiding because I said that.
Too late.
That's what I know. That's why I had to say something quick, because I know, oh my God, somebody could really use that for guilt. You know. Now I'm going to start off with the first sentence, and the first sentence is, it's on page 520 in the Course in Miracles text, and I want to teach my class today with less fear. So I don't know what that's going to look like to you, but I just want you to know what the goal is. It's just to be less afraid of showing you all who I really am. I'm trying to work you up to it.
Bring it on.
I've been trying to work people up to me for 6 to 7 years. It's been going great. It's been going great. I've had pretty cool people in my life ever since I was like 23. Because when I was 23 years old was when I first got on my spiritual path. And that started with astrology, which turned me on to metaphysics, which turned me on to the course. So I want to be honest with you today and ask you, isn't it evident that what your body's eyes perceive fills you with fear? Isn't it obvious that what you're looking at makes you afraid? That's the question. Isn't it evident the body's eyes, and I got two big ones. My buddies, my nickname when I was in high school was Wall-Eye. Wall-Eye, that was my nickname when I was in because my eyes were so big. So they call me Wall-Eye because it was such a big. So I can still, to this day, hear my buddies downstairs calling upstairs for me to come downstairs, and it'd be about 3 or 4 of them, and they'd be going, Wall-Eye! Then I go do stuff I'm still trying to let go of my guilt about. Have you ever done something in your past you're still trying to let go of your guilt about? See, I'm telling you. So he's saying, isn't it evident that what your body's eyes look at make you afraid? When you read the paper, when you hear what's going on with people, he says, isn't that evident? Is that obvious that we see things that sometimes make us feel afraid? I'm going to engage you. Is it obvious?
Yeah.
Okay. Then perhaps you think you find a hope of satisfaction there. You're hoping that even though you're looking at stuff that makes you afraid, that you are going to somehow find satisfaction with it. I mean, this is the truth. I'm looking at stuff that's making me afraid. This world is making me afraid. This relationship making me afraid. But somehow or another, I'm going to find some satisfaction with it. This job makes me afraid, makes me angry. Every time I open my eyes, I want to cry before I go in the morning. But I'm going to find some satisfaction in it. I'm in a relationship that makes me want to jump off a building. Only reason why I haven't committed suicide is that I believe what I really am lives forever, and I'll be right back, and I don't want to go through elementary school ever again. Let alone junior high school and all that stuff. That's enough to make me want to get my act together right there. Y'all know y'all not y'all's bodies, and you just need to stop acting like it. You know you got a body, but you know you're spiritual beings. Every one of y'all know that. And isn't it evident that we're looking at some stuff that make us feel afraid, and then we turn around and tell ourselves, I'm going to find some satisfaction in this. Let's put it right there on the page. He says, perhaps you fancy, I like that, perhaps you fancy to attain some peace and satisfaction in the world as you perceive it. Perhaps you think you're going to achieve some peace and satisfaction in the world as you're looking at it. You think you're going to find a good time in the world as you are looking at it. You think you're going to have the best time in the world. He says in the world that you are looking at, which is a world that the things you look at sometimes make you feel afraid, and you're trying to find some satisfaction in something you're afraid of. Sometimes people in relationships trying to find satisfaction in something they're afraid of, with the person they're afraid of. You made me look at you. This is your dream. You created it. You said right at that moment, I want Earl to look at me. The Course in Miracles says there's not one single thing that happens in your life that every single thing that happens in your life, you ask for it. I said, boy, that used to make me so mad. But in the end, I found out it was like getting mad about gravity. Oh, gravity makes me so mad. But that don't make no difference. You still got to deal with gravity. So I used to think about getting all upset about the truth, and the truth, isn't it evident that what you look at is scaring the hell out of you? Yes. Well, Why do you think you're going to find some satisfaction in it? Perhaps you imagine that you're going to have some peace and satisfaction in the world as you look at it. Perhaps you're going to think that you're going to find some peace and satisfaction in the world the way you're looking at it. Perhaps you think you're going to find some peace and satisfaction in the world the way you're looking at it. But it must be evident the outcome doesn't change. Despite your hopes and fancies, always does despair result. Oh, I saw her at the Jazzy Jack's Friday night, and I think I'm going to find some peace and satisfaction in her as I see her. But in the end, the outcome doesn't change. I'm full of despair. How did I do this again? What caused it? Why am I here again? This book is so true.
Yes.
It's just ridiculous. Isn't it evident that the stuff you're looking at is scaring the hell out of you? Yes. Perhaps you think you're going to find some satisfaction in it. Yes. Well, isn't it evident that every time you try to find some satisfaction in the world, as you're looking at the world, that you always end up in despair?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Woo, bam. Then it said, they should put stuff in the Course in Miracles that'll blow your mind. Turns around and said, there is no exception. What? What do you mean there is no exception? Everything you look at with that's looking at fear that you're trying to find satisfaction in, that's not really love, then in the end you're going to feel despair. You'll always feel despair when you're not experiencing love. And there is no substitute for love. You think it's that car. And I'll let you have it just so you can see that it has nothing to do with a car. That's why you know all of your dreams are going to come true even at a physical level, that the things you want even at a physical material level is obviously going to happen so that you can go ahead, have that need fulfilled so you can move on. Because as long as you think there's something missing that you want, that you think is going to make you happy, you're going to be distracted from your real happiness. So a smart God would say, let me give these jokers everything they want, the latest flat screen, and, the biggest house they think they want, everything, so that little part of them that thinks it needs that will be satisfied so they can finally stop being distracted so they can hear my voice. And so it starts out by saying, well, isn't it evident, just tell the truth, isn't it evident that the things you look at make you feel afraid and you're still trying to get satisfaction, and no matter how much you think it's going to give you peace, you end up in some form of upset or despair. And then, of course, there is no exception, nor will there ever be. Every time you seek happiness where it's located, you will never find it. There's no exceptions. If you know what I'm saying, if I'm looking for my computer in my car and it's at home, I don't care how nice a person I am, I'll never find my computer in my car. So being nice doesn't get you where you want to go. Knowing where you are and how to get to where you want to go is how you get to where you want to go. But you have to tell the truth by admitting where you are now. And where you are now is somewhere where you perceive things fearfully sometimes, with anger and with upset. Then you say, I hate this situation, but can I make the best out of it? So then I'm trying to figure out how I can love somebody I don't love. Then I go to classes for it. That's called a workshop, a relationship workshop. I hate this person. How can I love him? What do you tell me, please? It's so true. And it's true. I'm telling you, the Course in Miracles is a trip. It's a joke book from God. It's a joke book from God to tell you the truth. My greatest joy teaching it is to watch the reactions of those who hear it. You haven't seen the kind of faces I've seen in the last 30 years. There's not words to describe the face. This is the way I've seen faces look, But something keeps bringing people here, no matter what. You know what I'm saying? So that's how you know you're going to end up happy.
All right.
See, your happiness, can I share something with you? Yeah. Your happiness is your radar. It's your homing beacon. You know, so it works like this. I'll never be satisfied with anything that's less than what I think I really deserve. I'll never be satisfied with anything less than what I deserve. So why am I not satisfied with that relationship? I know I deserve more. That's why you're dissatisfied, because you know you deserve more than what you're giving yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
So then you need to stop trying to give things to yourself. You are miserable at it.
Yeah. That's true.
Yes. Yeah. Admit it so you can finally have what you want. Because everything you're working so hard for could be given to you. Don't tell me you have never received a gift in your life. You all have. So you know it is possible for something wonderful to just be given you when you can't even see how you made it happen. See, that's a miracle.
Yeah.
That's when it says, of course, a miracle saying, God, I'm trying to get you guys to the point y'all let me give y'all's ass something. Y'all still think you got to figure out how you're going to be happy on your own when you're so miserable at it. And then the Holy Spirit said, what do you mean? I'm going to step in for y'all. What do you mean? What do you mean, miserable at it? As I take another pill.
Yeah.
So I can try to forget, you know. Yeah, so you're so miserable at it, but you need to see it so that I can simply get you to the point that you'd be willing for me to give you everything you really want in your heart. And it says, the only value that the past can hold. Okay, would you like to hear that?
Yes.
Okay. What is the only value of the past? Is for you to learn what? That the past gave me no rewards I want to keep.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah.
Woo! I said that again because I can see the looks on your face. Some of y'all heard me talk English and you didn't know what the hell I just said. So let me say it to you again. That's how you know I'm talking another language. I'm talking the miracle language. I'm talking the language. If you'll say this stuff, even if you don't know what you're saying, good stuff will happen to you. It was made for us.
Right on.
You know that's your curriculum, the one where you don't have to do nothing and it works? Y'all know y'all the people looking for that. Don't be trying to pretend. You don't want to do nothing, but everything works.
Yeah.
And that's not an insult. That is power.
That's right.
True power is it's effortless. Weakness struggles, not power. So the course says the only value that's happened in your past, Earl, including prom night, is that you learned it gave no rewards that you want to keep, because you're only going to be willing to let go of something when you realize that it didn't do nothing for you. It's not doing nothing for you. It never will do anything for you. That's how you let it go. You ain't doing nothing for me. You never have done anything for me. I don't think you ever will. Bye. And not only, I know some of my girlfriends says that, have it gone forever. Have him gone forever. I never want to see him again. If you ever had somebody say that to you or you wanted to say that to somebody, that's what he says. He says the only value that the past can hold is that you learned it gave you no rewards you want to keep, because only when you realize it's giving you no rewards, only when you realize the thing hasn't benefited you, he says, that's when you'll be willing to relinquish it. That's when you'll be willing to let it go forever. So if you see that it's not benefiting you, and all the energy and attention that you have put into it gave you no rewards, and you saw it wasn't benefiting you, he says, that's when you let it go, and that's when you let it go forever. So the Course is telling you how to have things forever. And that's why it's hard to hear the Course in Miracles. He says, because when you think you're temporary, and for some of us closer to the end of that than others, I went to a meeting one time, and they told me, I'm going to tell you how aging works. And they said, well, you know, when you're in your 20s and teens and 30s and 40s, it's like you're on a bridge. and you can't see the shore on the other side. It's just trotting along. And he's right around 50 or so, you start seeing the distant shore. Because you've been thinking you're immortal at the body level. You're twerking and everything. We used to do the dog, and I ain't going to do it here because it'll go viral and I'll just be worried to death. Okay. And I think about how you attempt to try to judge what you think of as a younger generation. And then I realized we did the same thing. We just called it the dog. If you saw the dog, you'd think twerking was like Little Red Riding Hood. If you get appalled at twerking, you don't need to see the dog. So what I'm saying is, don't you see that what your eyes look at, fill you with fear? And haven't you been trying to make yourself happy? And no matter what you seem to do, sometimes it looks like despair results. Doesn't it seem like the only value that your past has is that you want to realize there was nothing that it taught you that you want to hang on to other than the loving thoughts?
Yeah.
And you want to have everything other than the loving thoughts banished forever from your mind. And that's why we feel separate. Because when you're unloved and you feel banished, you're unloved and you feel separate. So we know where we're at in the mind. We're in the part of the mind that believes we're separate. And we're experiencing what happens when you believe you're separate. Can we be dishonest? Okay. Any comments, any thoughts about anything that I've said so far? Yes.
Well, I think the reverse of this paragraph was really hitting me in that because we so often hold on to the past. I mean, as a counselor, I hear people's past stories all the time. And so what this tells me is, we hold on to the past because we actually believe it's holding something worth keeping. And to break the belief that what I'm really holding is solely a concept. It's not tangible because we hold on to the past like it is a tangible substance that does something for us. And it's a concept.
You don't know nothing about my past until I tell you. So that means it is not real. Some of y'all, I saw the light go on, and some of y'all went, what the hell? I still don't know what they're talking about. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm going to work all the way now. Good. I'm glad.
What you first said is the way the body looks at things is through fear. Well, that's still a choice. We can choose to look at things through fear, or I choose to look at things through rose-colored glasses, where there's love in everything versus the fear.
Okay.
So don't you think that there is a choice whether we decide to choose to look at things through love or through fear?
Always. It's always a choice. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, I realized recently that I was engaging in the news. I was allowing the news into my life. And I felt dirty after allowing that in to my energy field. I felt like I wanted to take a shower or something. So I now realize what was going on, right? I was engaging in the news for some perceived entertainment or something I could gain from it, and yet it's a form of fear that I was feeling, and my being didn't like that fear. So I haven't totally disengaged from the news, but I have mostly, and I feel better.
And we all need to feel better, and it's good that we all feel better, but it also doesn't mean that what I saw wasn't happening.
Right, and I realize I can selectively engage in the news.
That's
and
right.
I can also monitor what I'm thinking and feeling, allowing myself to think and feel as I engage in it.
That's right. That's right. The one thing we have control over at this level is how we choose to see it. But no matter how you choose to see it, that will not stop what is.
True.
And that's the part I used to get screwed up on. I thought because I was tuning out, it meant it wasn't happening. And that used to, a lot of times, it make me end up in despair. Just like you said. Because now when I'm in despair, it just lets me know I'm looking at something with fear. I'm looking at something incorrectly. So, exactly. And both comments were around what? Choice. Choice. Both comments were around choice.
So for me, you kind of brought my mind back to the class you taught on Thursday, where it says, when we instantly look at things like that in the news. For me, yesterday was a deep day for me as well. I'm looking at it, I'm already comparing myself to these people I'm looking on the TV, meaning I'm thinking with my ego, so basically I have to choose to see it another way and see that these guys are actually just me as well, they're part of me, and they're not different to me. But if I was comparing myself to them, then that means I must be in my ego as well, so I just have to look at them and choose to see it differently, so that I can correct all the bullshit I'm looking at.
And the old way you looked at it, right, and that's what he's saying right here. When you realize that the old way of looking at it didn't give you any rewards that you want to keep. That's what he's talking about. We go into the form, but it's really talking about that. It's saying, don't want to keep anything that's keeping you in fear. That one little rule could change your life. Don't want to keep something that keeps you in fear. And we're going back. All right, we can work Jason on across the way.
I've had a couple of moments, and what I'm feeling like listening to everybody is when I actually look through the eyes of love, when I don't use my physical eyes, I don't need to choose. Because I don't need the rose-colored glasses, I don't need to look at the news, I can see it all as an illusion, and then it's more like seeing it through love. Seeing it as, this is just what it is. And I've had those moments where I'm like, oh, it's all good. But then they're fleeting because I go right back into the body and back into fear.
Isn't it interesting that back into the body and back into the fear, that's synonymous?
Yeah.
Because the Course teaches that every fear you got is somewhere centered around the body. Every fear you have, whether it's housing it, feeding it, clothing it, somebody else wanting it. And you get to the point one day you go, baby, I love you so much I ain't gonna never give you my body. That went over big, didn't it? It was like it was crickets in here. I ain't gonna give you my body, but I still want you to want it. Don't act like it's not important at all. It's traumatic when you're in a male body and that begins to happen. That's what's happening to me. I'm traumatized right now. I'm seeing everybody beyond their bodies.
It's a beautiful thing.
And so that takes away my desire to get your bodies. I'm waiting for the reward, God. I thought this meant I was going to get the bodies easier. I didn't know it was going to like wipe out the whole thing. Because I started to discover something that was much more fascinating in females and males. It's their minds. Now, you talking about you want to go on a scary journey. Or an exciting and thrilling. When your minds and your hearts join with somebody, a lot of times the body just get thrown in for a bonus. It ain't even like the big deal. Oh, okay, you have my body too. Oh, well, later. Baby. Because we're so joined right now in our hearts and in our minds and the way we communicate and relating to each other in such an unlimited way that getting in the body just feels like a constraint. So like when you put a condom on.
All spirits to condom.
Hey, I'm channeling. Don't forget. Don't forget. Say, coming from me. Coming from Patrick. Yes, yes, darling.
I think this is such an interesting conversation about the news and our perception. And I recently had a moment right before I went to sleep that I said, this collective experience that we're all having is such an interesting dream. We are creating such an interesting dream together. This is our collective consciousness creating the world that we all live in. And so I'm wondering if what we're seeing through our eyes is actually creating the collective perception that we're experiencing. And if we change what we see, then we'll change what we experience.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And so, and then what this paragraph is saying to us is, then we don't want any of the rewards of the way we used to look at things when we felt afraid. See, you're still trying to get us to see that there is no benefit, and this is going to make us mad because it's a part of us that lives off fear. It's a fear vampire. It sucks fear. But when you stop fearing your fear, it goes away. And the way you stop fearing your fear is remind yourself that it didn't give you any satisfactions or any rewards that you want to keep. So you don't ever want to go. Now this is going to upset some folk, okay? So it would say to you, don't go into the direction of your fear. When we've been taught that doing that is brave. Right? Right? And for some people, they need to do that. Some people need to do that because that's their path. Their path is to go, no pain, no gain. You know, their path is to believe that you have to struggle and toil before you can receive. You know, that's their path. But what the Course is saying to us, for the people who is speaking to right now, is you don't want any rewards of fear. What you really want is to let your fear go. And everything that would cause you fear in your mind, let it go. I'm working on my way across, yes.
I just like how you said that anything from the past that isn't love, so you can still have the memories of love. And I mean, I just think of so many people that I've had associations with, and I remember just the love, and it reminds me I'm a loving human being. So that, I'm still getting the reward of that. So that is something that the past can give you if it's coming from love. So when you were first saying it, I was one of those deer in the headlights, like, what do you mean you can't remember the past and get any rewards? And then when you said, except for the loving thoughts, and then it was like, yeah, that's the part that I really enjoy.
And here's the kicker. The loving thoughts are not of the past, because love is eternal. So you're just remembering a love that always is.
That's true.
That's all. That's what, you know. I want to experience the love each and every one of you has for me that you may not even know you have. I want people to love me who don't even know they love me. That's the kind of love we got. And so this is good news to me. I won't let go of my fear until I realize it's not benefiting me and never will benefit me. And I'm going to think of all the reasons why I think fear is good now, so that the part of me that likes to be afraid can still exist. So now I'm going to give you all the reasons why fear is good, because then that'll justify me holding on to the fear because I'm really afraid to let my fear go. So keep telling me how my fear benefits me, and then I'll keep it because I don't think it's blocking into my happiness. But I'm in despair, and I don't know why. And so what the Course does is it gets you out of despair by making you feel a lot of despair at first, because it seems like some of your cherished beliefs are being challenged. Like the belief there was something about the past that gave you a reward. And so I want to believe that. He says, well, if it's not love, then there was nothing about it that you want to keep. I don't want to keep an unloving childhood.
Yeah.
Why would I want to keep it? Phew, that's deep.
Yeah, it really just went, my thoughts are kind of connected with where CJ began, which is the different types of rewards. Like when I first read the paragraph, I was thinking of all the rewards that I think like I'm lacking, and so I look at something from the fear of, well, I don't have that, how can I get it? And then so that creates those dynamics of me approaching people, situations, money, job, work, all those things in a state of fear. It's like, I'm not enough, how can I get it? And that even if I think it's all these like beautiful rewards I'm going to get from that struggle, from the striving, from compromise, all those things, that if I'm honest, it's always been despair. But what I also like about kind of where you just gone as well is I can use the past as a means to explain why I behave the way I behave. So the question isn't about why anymore. Like I need to get out of the why. Why do I do behaviors that hurt myself? Why do I want to be attracted to relationships that are toxic? And like the why doesn't matter so much as, am I willing to let the past go of, oh, it's because of this parent or because of this incident. It's like that doesn't matter anymore if I don't want to keep the reward of continuing the behavior that hurts myself. And then blaming it on my past, which, like you had mentioned, is not here. If I have to explain to you why it is I behave the way I behave because of when I was 3, like that's not real. It's a story I made up to stay doing the thing that hurts myself today. And I really love that this course offers me a way out of that.
It's made for us. It's made for us. Not made for everybody, because everybody got their own way of getting back home. And that's what I like about my hardcore Course in Miracles class. It's like, okay, I'm especially gearing this class to those people who already decided they're going to study the Course in Miracles. They're not on the fence. They know this is something they want to learn. Because then you have to be ready to handle the challenge of something being easier and simpler. You think the complexity is tough for us? Give us some simple truth and watch us just die right before your eyes. Yes, CJ. What would you?
I have something to say in there.
Okay.
They're really appreciating online the depth of the class, so like really resonating with it. One of the things that's been in the dialogue here is there's a difference between holding on to the loving feeling about something and holding on to a memory that is something we loved that can hold us back. I had a slender, beautiful body at 20 that could hold me back today if I'm holding on to that memory. That's different than holding on to
just pass
love.
it to me.
You want my 20?
I'll store that memory for you.
Okay, I'll send you a picture.
Yeah, send me a picture.
Okay.
I'll put it 5 right away.
You use your X-ray vision.
I'm here to help. I'm
Oh,
here to
sure.
serve.
But that's one of the pieces where they're asking, working on some distinction around is there is a difference. We can still get stuck in the past even if we're thinking about good things that we claim as good. That still holds us in the past.
Thank you. This is the way I look at truth. Have you ever seen a diamond? Picture it, 3-dimensional. All of us are looking at the truth from different angles, like many facets in a diamond. So that doesn't mean for you and me to have a conversation, what you have to be say is right, which means what I just said is wrong. So we're going back and forth as to who's saying the thing that's right. I hate those kind of conversations.
I think they're asking for clarification, actually. I don't think they're...
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying that when you're looking at a diamond, there's room for every perspective, including that. That's what I'm saying. So I try not to listen to people from the perspective of what they're saying is wrong, basic versus what I think is right. So when I was listening to you all share, for me, that was getting new perspectives of the truth that I would not otherwise think of, not what you say just contradicted what I said. You see the difference? So I love that you're sharing, and I want you to know how I'm receiving it. I'm receiving it as nobody's right, nobody's wrong. We're all giving very beautiful, helpful perspectives of the truth, so we all win. So I'm glad that I used to think it had to be the other way. Okay, they said something different from me, so one of us right and one of us wrong. We can all be right. And that's your special gift, is I'll see the truth come through you in a way I'll never see it come through anybody else. And so that's why I have to be free to join and extend to you, because I'm guaranteed to have experiences I've never had before. So you couldn't possibly be bored anymore unless you put a script on everybody about how you think they should act. Then you're walking around mad because they're not being themselves.
There's room for everybody in the land of infinity.
Infinity sounds pretty big to me. It should be room enough for your perspective.
I'm great, thank you.
Oh yeah. Isn't it evident that your eyes feel you in things that make you feel afraid? Perhaps you think you're going to find a hope of satisfaction. Perhaps you think you're going to find some hope of satisfaction. Perhaps you think you're going to find some hope of satisfaction in the perception of fear. The only good thing that the past taught you is that you need to let go of whatever causes you pain and fear. If you don't go for your happiness where it's located, you find despair. If you see that it doesn't benefit you, you will let it go forever. Let it go forever. Let it go forever. Let it go forever. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. Let it go forever. Let it go forever. Let it go forever. Let it go forever. You know what I'm talking about. It's time to let it go forever. Let it go forever. Let it go forever. You know what I'm talking about. You know that memory you used to make you feel fear and guilt and anger. You know that secret pain you've been carrying around from the past. This is the time to let it go forever. Let it go forever. Let it go forever. I let it go forever. Let it go forever. Let it go forever. Let it go forever. I let it go forever. Holy Spirit just using my body and then just throws me aside. You know what I'm saying? Like I knew something good just happened to me, then I come back, I go, I missed it again. Can you do a little bit more?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Okay, this is going to be another challenging sentence because it's so true. It's such a challenging question. Isn't it strange that you should cherish, steal, some hope of satisfaction from the world you see? Isn't it strange that you still think you're going to be satisfied with the world you see? Isn't it strange that you still cherish some hope that you're going to be satisfied with the world of fear you see? In no respect, at any time or place, has anything but fear and guilt been your reward. You still end up feeling fearful and guilty when you cherish some form of satisfaction in the world. You end up feeling guilty. I don't know about you, but sometimes I feel the most guilt about what I thought at the time were my greatest satisfactions. It's my past satisfactions that I feel guilty about. Because at the time I felt totally satisfied. And then later on, I made myself feel guilty. So I can't cherish that I'm going to be satisfied in any relationship in which I just have a lot of fear. Because if I'm in a relationship where there's a lot of fear, then guilt's going to be our reward. When there's a relationship based on fear, then the Course says what you're going to get out of that relationship is a lot of guilt. So how can I tell whether I'm in a truly loving relationship or a truly fearful relationship? By how much guilt I feel in it.
Yep.
And so when I first heard that, I thought it had wiped out all my social life. I thought I was going to be all alone. And you know what? I am! It feels so good. God, it feels good to be with you. It feels good not to.
Yep.
I want it to be that way for you, about me. I want things to go great for you and you feel happy when you're not with me as well as when you're with me. Because I want a relationship that there's no fear between us, and so we won't have the reward of guilt. And I won't be in a relationship where I'm trying to make somebody feel guilty and they won't be trying to make me feel guilty. So I would be in a relationship that is beyond this world. Because when you're dealing with a relationship created by this world, you can tell because there's no satisfaction and guilt and fear and despair of what you're feeling.
Freedom.
How long is needed for you to realize that the chance of change in this respect is hardly worth delaying the change that might result in better outcome? How long is needed for you to realize that that's never going to change, so go ahead and let's do a change that's going to result in it being better for you? I'll say that again. How long is it needed for you to realize is that it's going to always be that way, that I will not be satisfied in the relationship full of guilt, fear, and despair, so that I can go ahead and do the simple things that I need to do so that I can be in a relationship. There is no despair, there is no guilt, there is no fear. I would love to be in relationships with you that I wasn't afraid of you. And I'm afraid of all of you. Now I want to love you. When I told myself I wasn't, then I didn't put forth no love because I thought I already was. But wasn't getting the result of all the love I wasn't given. I used to be mad because I wasn't getting all the result of the love I wasn't given. I thought life was being unfair to me because I kept expecting it to give me what I wasn't given.
It's because you had expectations.
Which are always the mother of grievances.
Yes.
Is expectation. And so the Course is telling us one thing is sure. The way you see, the way you have long seen, give no support to base your future hopes, no suggestions of success at all. To place your hopes where no hope lies must make you hopeless. So if you're a hopeless person, you're saying, I continue to place my hope where no hope lies. I'm continuing to place my hope in what really is no hope. I feel hopeless. I'm continuing to place my hopes where there is no hope. I feel hopeless. Yet is this hopelessness, your choice is this hopelessness. You are choosing the hopelessness. You are choosing to place your hopes where there is no hope that makes you hopeless, because that's your choice, because you are seeking for hope where hope is never found. You're seeking for hope where none is ever found. Isn't it also true, though, that you found some hope? Isn't it true, though, that you have found some hope apart from this fear, some glimmering, some inconstant wavering, yet dimly seen, that there is hopefulness that's warranted on grounds that are not of this world? You kind of feeling like there is a hopefulness. There is a hopefulness that has nothing to do with this world. You're beginning to feel a hopefulness that has nothing to do with this fear. Even if it's dim, right now you're beginning to feel a hopefulness that's warranted on grounds that are not of this world. But when you make the mistake of still thinking that hopefulness is going to come from this world, then it's going to prevent you from giving up the hopeless, unrewarding job that you've given yourself. What kind of job do I have, boys and girls? Hopeless and unrewarding. I've been doing what kind of job? A hopeless and unrewarding job that I set for myself. But I'm beginning to feel that no matter what I've done to myself, whatever I think I've done to myself, I'm feeling this hope inside of me. I'm feeling this connection inside of me that's telling me that it's okay for me to still have hope, as long as I don't turn right back around and make my hope based in something of the fear and in the fearful world. Then it says, can it make sense to hold the fixed belief that there is reason to uphold pursuit of what has always failed? Does it make sense to keep a belief, a fixed belief? What is a fixed belief? That there's a reason for me to keep on doing something that's failed. I have a fixed belief that I need to keep on doing the thing that hasn't worked. I have a fixed belief that I need to keep on doing the thing that hasn't worked. I have a fixed belief that I need to keep on doing the thing that hasn't worked. It says right here, can it make sense to hold the fixed belief that there is reason to uphold pursuit of what has always failed on the grounds that what has always failed is going to suddenly succeed? I'm going to keep on doing this even though it has failed over and over again, because everybody knows when you make a mistake 669 times, that's when everything works. I'm going to keep on doing the same thing that don't work, but everybody knows a certain number of times you got to do the thing that don't work, then it works. And so he's saying right here, can it make sense to hold a fixed belief that there's reason to uphold pursuit of what has always failed on the grounds that it will suddenly succeed? And that means bring what it has never brought before. I'm going to do the same thing the same way, but it's going to bring me something this time that it ain't never brought me before. I'm doing my relationships right the same way I've always done it, but the next time going to bring me something I ain't never had before. Because we know it was just their fault. It wasn't me. I was perfect.
That's a sign of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different result.
I was walking downtown last night, and I don't know, it must have been some kind of monster thing yesterday. Because I wouldn't have expected it. You know, I had just gone to the ballet to see Sleeping Beauty. No joke. I love the ballet. Yes. Yeah. Oh yeah. I love the ballet. And I love the white. I love the band. I love the way they move. I love the little outfits. And it looks like masters at their craft. Yeah. Like you seeing them do stuff in your wildest dreams.
Yes.
You know, and then with such grace and beauty, and then I'm a musician, so I get a chance to watch the best musicians going, you know, like the symphony, or they be playing, and then you get to listen to them play, especially if they play your instrument, and then when they get through, you just want to go home and burn yours, you know. You betrayed me. I played saxophone, and when somebody else played my saxophone better than me, I felt like my saxophone had cheated on me. I didn't know you could play like that. You don't play like that for me. I've heard people say that. Yeah, but you know, they play me a lot better than you do, baby. Yeah, they do much better fingering than you. Okay. Okay, I said that. Don't forget, I'm channeling now. I told y'all. Okay. But that was the simple power of that paragraph, to say that its past has failed. The stuff you used to do, the things you've done before that never really worked out, its past has failed. Be glad it's gone. Within the mind, because it's darkening your mind whenever you want to keep on doing something that's never worked. Be glad that you are so smart now that you no longer want to do what's always failed. Be glad that you have finally gotten to the point that you no longer want to only see fear and conflict and separation. So there is grounds for us to have hope. You're right to want to believe that we will truly be in an environment and surrounded by only love and only peace and only connection and only safety and only joy. But the way that we allow ourselves to do that is to let go of the past by recognizing that there was nothing from the past that was anything but love that you want to keep. And no longer keep on trying to seek for satisfaction in things that keep you upset. Thank you very much. 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 Sometimes I get little notes. People say, I'm suing you for course abuse. But when I do the Course in Miracles, it feels like some kind of a train is going through my body. And I'd love to have you on the contact list, because the Holy Spirit is giving me some really interesting things to present. And you want to make sure that you are notified about it. So just print your email. And same thing online, just go to my website, earlpurdy.com. I want to thank you for any financial expression of appreciation. Thank you. Anybody online, if you'd like to make a financial expression of appreciation. Still the most uncomfortable part of the class that I go through.
Okay.
But I'm going to keep on doing it. Because you know what?
You deserve it, baby.
I deserve it.
That's right.
I deserve it.
Sure do.
I'm available for clarity sessions, one-on-one sessions. Go to my website, earlpurdy.com. It tells you all about it. Tuesday night at 7 o'clock Mountain Time on Facebook Live, on the Earl Purdy page. I do The Way of Mastery. If you haven't checked out The Way of Mastery, it means just what it's saying. And we're getting ready to go into a new section called The Way of Knowing.
My favorite.
And then on Thursdays, I do 7 o'clock Mountain Time, what I call Hardcore Course in Miracles, which is a class that I'm assuming that you just really want to hear what the Course is really saying now. There's not a battle about whether or not you want to learn it. And you're also doing some studying and stuff on your own. Thank you very much. God is good.
All the time.
All the time. One thing I heard today that I want to remember Anybody? That was some deep stuff before I do a quick little recap. Anybody got anything? Yes.
The past gives no rewards.
The past gives no rewards that I want to hang on to that is not love. Anybody else? Yes.
When the past has failed you, be glad it's over. Some bridges need to be burned.
Be glad it's over. Some bridges need to be burned. Are you a Scorpio?
I'm a Libra.
That's okay. That's the Scorpio energy. I knew it was in there somewhere. I can feel it. I can feel it. Yes.
Bridges.
Don't forget, I'm an astrologer and a numerologist. I know all about you. You are not the mystery you think you are. It's much easier to get to know you than you think. God, it's so cool. It's so cool. Wow. You all gonna have so much fun when you stop hating yourself. Me too, you know. I know some of y'all don't think y'all hate yourself. That's okay. We'll let you have delusions of grandeur. Okay? But those of us who know there's a part of us that don't like us. And we're stalking that part of us. And we're realizing what? That when I listen to my fearful self, my eyes are filled with fear. That when I go after the stuff that I'm most afraid of, then I'm going to end up with some despair, and I always will. I don't want to keep anything from the past that is not love. I want it to be gone, but I have to also say, let it be gone forever. See, the Course in Miracles is not about temporary. So it says, you know, you have to, if you're serious, and you have to want love only. That has to be the only thing that you want is freedom, which is love. And there's no compromise on that. And freedom is of the mind. It's not of the body. Freedom is of the mind. And so that means you have to be free to think what you want to think. That's how you'll know the power of your thought. Is you will be willing to think the way you choose to think. Then you'll know the power of your mind. And you know that you're beginning to feel a hope. You know you're beginning to feel a hopefulness that's warranted on grounds that don't have anything to do with the world. You know you're tuning into another part of you that you've never felt and never known before. You know there's a part of you that's waking up. I defy you to start seeing somebody from beyond their body and not instantly feel joy. See, as I begin, like I was saying earlier, I'm going through this stage of beginning to experience people beyond their bodies. And what's weird about it is the once you see a person beyond their body, you instantly feel one with them because that means that it's almost like they're contained within you. Yeah. See, if you're not outside of me, you're inside of me. And if you're inside of me, you are me because it's just one thing I'm looking at. I'm looking so forward to the time I'm so awake that I'll look into what appears to be another human being's eyes, and they will absolutely know I am them, and I know they are me, and we don't have 1 ounce of separation or thought of separation between us. That's how I know when it's really happening. See, the more people tell me, you are me. I do see you as me. Even though we're kind of kidding around at first when we say that stuff. But one day you're going to mean it, and I'm going to really mean it. And I'm going to look in your eyes, and you're going to look in my eyes, and we realize we're looking in the same eyes. And when that happens, that's when the fun really begins. Because you won't be afraid of each other. Can't wait. Acknowledge yourself. Thank you for coming today, Holy Spirit. Thank you for letting me be myself again. Love y'all online too. Hugs are available.